Look, I know it still might be extremely early to already dismiss Splatoon 3 after only having one update and still a lot more planned, including a big chunk of DLC coming to this game to probably add more to the story. I still want to think about the future and what Splatoon is going to do in the coming years. Of course, today I want to talk about Splatoon 4. I want to talk about how this next game could be something entirely fresh, something entirely new, and something entirely different, with entirely new characters, an entirely new story, and an entire new world. Yeah, I'm talking entirely. So today we're going to talk about Splatoon 4. I want to talk about everything that this game is going to do differently, with Splatoon 4 probably starting a brand new story cycle because Splatoon 3 was said to be the end of the current story. We're probably going to be meeting new characters and a completely new world for the first time. So today I want to talk to you guys about Splatoon 4, and I'll be starting off with the story. With Splatoon 4, what if we took place away from the city? We get to learn about new characters and their origins, and maybe taking us away from all the big city lights and structures that we've been used to. And now we are on a tropical island in the middle of the ocean. Maybe the Inklings and Octolings here have been trapped for a very long time because they can't leave. It's an island surrounded by water. I mean, they could technically build some type of boat craft or something to try to get away, but it's just so far and secluded in this water, there's no way for them to get out. So they spent generations on this island. This could also be maybe one of the first generations that we see, or earlier on generations, and it's a different tribe or group of Inklings and Octolings that actually have been working together this whole time. There was never any Octarian beef at all. They've all been together on this island. So now we can learn about new lore, what these Inklings and Octolings went through and what happened before them even, because we've heard the stories of the rockets and the space shuttles in Alterna and even the starting point of all Inkling and Octoling life within this world, but we know that Inklings and Octolings branched out, so there could be some way that a lot of them ended up on this island and started generations of Inklings and Octolings and raised them here. This time around, we won't be focusing on agents, but maybe this time you're just an explorer, or maybe you're some type of Inkling or Octoling that got sent here on a boat and just was exploring in the sea one day and ended up here washed up on the beach, and your job is just to explore everything. Maybe the story mode single player is simply about making your way to the top, maybe to save the great Zapfish again from some new creatures. This means, yes, level design can now be more open-ended, allowing you to explore unique terrain instead of the usual mission-based obstacle course floating in the sky missions that we've had in the first 3 games. You can actually explore caves and caverns and different tree areas and find things, explore at your own will, find secrets and Easter eggs all over this island. And of course, another cool thing we could get is a new race of villains, maybe some pirates based on sharks. We finally see Master Mega as one of the first few sharks, so maybe instead of Octoling beef or Octarian beef, they have beef with the shark creatures, or Sharkarians, or something like that, and we had to take them out in order to save the Zapfish. That would actually be really cool. I would love to see sharks have a big role in the next Splatoon game, and I think this is a perfect way with the tropical island. Maybe they're one of the few creatures that can predominantly use the water, and we have to use special suits in order to fight them underwater. That would be really cool as well. If you guys want to see more images like these, please check out Alexis Flaum on ArtStation. It's all linked down below. This time we don't really have a big city full of modern buildings and skyscrapers and apartments, but this time a tropical village with tons of huts and tall tree areas. Think Camp Triggerfish and Maui Maui Resort if they were to have a child. Shops can be little huts by the water, or maybe even extrude into the water where it's sitting on top, where the Inklings and Octolings just have to be careful. Maybe there's like rope and fencing where they walk, so that way they don't accidentally fall off and like drown or anything like that. You can find information out by big over-the-top designed signs instead of giant televisions, or just simply talking to nearby NPCs. The idols could also be maybe Hawaii/luau themed, and Splatfests are still a thing, but feels really cool at night because all of the natural light will come from different colored fire torches and fire burning in places all over the island, where we will have a really cool serenic feel. Now there could still be some electricity, like maybe string lights hanging around everywhere or lighting indoors, and maybe this could be the point of the great Zapfish being on this island as well. Maybe he can give a little bit of electricity to everybody that they just don't choose to use used it as much here on this island. With your character, you can now shop for pants, shorts, and maybe even customize your own socks. Right now, you can only get like a certain amount of shorts or pants in the very beginning, and it's like tied to your character's initial customization. Why can't we just go to a pants shop? That would work out pretty well, right? You can also change facial features instead of just skin and eye color to make them look even more unique to you. Hair customization will also be tied to a new barbershop and could also potentially allow you to have more customizable options, such as putting lines and designs in your own avatar's hair. I don't know how I got here, but subscribe!
Yeah, subscribe!
All the new stage maps will utilize different parts of the island and not just be straight lines with buildings everywhere. This time they will be intricately designed maps with overpasses and underpasses, huts that you can actually enter and paint the floor inside, and just be more dynamic and based on different sides of the island and map. I also want to be done with parallel sides, and I know that both sides have to be similar because of the whole, painting the floor and it has to be equal, but I feel like Nintendo can make it that different sides have different objects and different things to paint, but still equal the same amount of floor. I feel like that's definitely possible if they just work on the stages a lot harder. So I would love to see one side maybe have a giant cave that you can enter, or one side have a little cliff that you get to go up on and see the map from the top. That would be really cool. And just throwing out some map idea locations just real quickly, you could have a beach themed map, or a tropical jungle, cliffside, volcano crater. It could be like a big circle like Kelp Dome. You could have one where you're high up in the trees and tree canopies and jungle shacks, cave networks, and much more. Look, it's okay if the stages must have balance and both sides be the same, just please find ways to make them more unique than just straight lines. Splatoon's multiplayer needs new, bigger teams, and new game modes that can play outside of ranked. Maybe new game modes that focus on getting kills as well would be really great, and also big game modes that can have a lot more players on each team, such as like a ground war map with a huge map that's on this island. That'd be a lot of fun. Then we can go over to Salmon Run, where maybe the salmonid come back, or maybe it's the sharks this time, like I said with the story mode, but maybe they're just the brand new Salmon Run creatures, where this time they invade the island, kind of like Big Run, and the maps will be huge areas that we can explore with our team at dusk and even at night, and this time we have to complete objectives while we fight them off, similar to Call of Duty's zombie mode, where instead of being on this little tiny island and confined to 3 little waves, you actually get to explore a bigger island and do different objectives and plan things out with your friends. There could be little dark caves that you can enter and reach the top of trees to hide in canopies until the time is right to come down, and just find different strategies this way around and just make this an actual living world that you get to explore in, and this mode would be amazing. And once again, I would love to see a Battle Royale come to Splatoon. I think it'd be a great game for it. Lots of the map locations will be based on the multiplayer map locations, and it would just be one big island to explore, gather loot, and try to be the last one surviving, or swimming. They need an ongoing mode like this with a battle pass and seasons and everything, and I think it would be awesome. For the weapons, all weapons will be new. They will have more of a crafted look to them and feel to them, as if they kind of combine different pieces of wood and tree, plank, and just different things around the island in order to make these new versions of these weapons, which means they will shoot and play a little different from the weapons that we know. Maybe this time you get to customize and build certain weapons, put your own type of flair on it, for instance, your own camo, your own weapon charm that can hang off of the gun, and just kind of design your weapon to look very unique to you. For building your weapons, maybe you can put on certain attachments like scopes on certain guns in order to zoom in further, or maybe you can change the way the gun fires entirely. For instance, maybe you want to go for more accuracy, which takes down some of your damage, or maybe you want to have more bloom on your shot, but it gives you better damage. You can kind of customize your weapon to play the way you want, so that way they don't have to come out with like 8 different versions of the same weapon, and also the kits. Yeah, this time you don't have to pick a weapon that has a specific special. You can put any special on any weapon and any sub on any weapon. I know a lot of people are going to find this controversial. I'm like, but no, that's the point of the Splatoon weapon balancing. Now this just comes down to the subs and special in game. They would probably have to rework all of them to make them pretty similar altogether in power and strength and even weaknesses, which is fine. You could just have tons of different types of bombs for the sub instead of having weird things like the sprinkler, which just no one really cares about. I would also like to see a new perk or ability section, not just perks for your clothes, but actual abilities that your Inkling or Octoling could get. For instance, the ability to do a double jump or to do a dodge dive during gameplay, or maybe a mantle or climb up on things would be really cool. That brings me to the overall movement options for the Inklings and Octolings as well. I know they have Squid Surge and Squid Roll now, but what if we had a slide or a dive? That would be really cool, and it wasn't just tied to the dualies when you rolled. That would be awesome. They could also have an actual sprint button for a short sprint duration that actually loses energy as you keep going. Like I said before, what if I now can vault over short obstacles when I run towards them instead of having to jump, and flat out climb up on high structures when you jump up onto them and you can mantle on top of a high area. I think the stages should also be filled with cool things for mechanics such as zip lines that you get to ride to get up to higher places, or just different types of elements like turrets and stuff on the stages like we had with the shifty stations from Splatoon 2 Splatfest. I would also love the option to be able to carry a second gun. Once again, could be a controversial take, but this would be really cool if you could switch between, say, my N-Zap and then a charger once the button is pushed, which, yes, that means you might have to pick your own special like I already said, because you can't have two specials with those two guns, or maybe you get to pick one of those two specials that you have for one of those guns, which would make a lot of sense. But yeah, once again, I think this game could have a big focus on crafting and making your own loadouts, building your character the way you want them to look completely, and just kind of crafting your own Splatoon experience from your weapons, from your character, from the gameplay, from everything. I want this to be a big crafted feel for Splatoon 4. It's kind of sad to think that our current world of Splatoon is about to come to a close. This 3-game cycle has gave us a lot of lore and love for a game series that just started on the Wii U. I'm so excited to see the bright future for this series as people continue to come to this game and love the experience of the Inklings and the Octolings. I would love to see a brand new world with brand new environments and a brand new story to dive into. And I think Splatoon 4 is probably already being brainstormed by Nintendo, and I cannot wait to see what grand details are going to lie on this mystical island or new city or wherever we're going to end up, because I'm sure it's going to be great. Guys, let me know in the comments down below where you want to see us go in the next Splatoon game. Let me know why you want to go there, and let me know all of the things that you want to see appear in the next Splatoon game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember to follow and check out the artists left in the description down below for a lot of the pictures shown here today. And thank you so much, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.